Eric Trump was on Fox News curled up in his usual fetal position when he made a little confession that's virtually guaranteed to come back to bite him and his father later.
When they raided Mar-a-Lago, I talk a lot about that in the book because I was the guy that got the call from our teams. Obviously, I run the Trump organization. I got a call. The FBI is at the front gates of Mar-a-Lago. They have a search warrant, sir. And I go, why would they have a search warrant? What are they trying to search at Mar-a-Lago? I don't know, but they're demanding that you instantly turn off every security camera. Obviously, Mar-a-Lago is a commercial property, right? They're demanding you turn off your security cameras right now. And then, sure enough, we find out that Jack Smith is planting manila folders on the office of my father, taking these, glamorous photo shoots where he has them all fanned out like a turkey. This was the lawfare.
That's Eric Trump laying the foundation to be able to say that his father was the victim of lawfare at the hands of Jack Smith, who was, quote, planting manila envelopes in the office of my father. Now, this might seem like the usual bitching and moaning by a member of the Trump family, but think for a moment about why planting this narrative might be important for them. Trump is turbocharging his efforts to prosecute his political opponents. He's done so with James Comey, with Letitia James, and an indictment against John Bolton is expected any moment now. Jack Smith is, of course, on that list, meaning these people have a vested interest in making the case in the court of public opinion so that when Jack Smith is inevitably caught up in the dragnet that is Trump's weaponized DOJ, it A, won't be surprising, and B, will actually feel justified to his base and even the potential jury pool. But there's one small problem here that Eric didn't consider. The search warrant was executed on Mar-a-Lago on August 8th, 2022. Jack Smith wasn't appointed special counsel until November 18th, meaning 2 months later. That means Jack Smith literally had nothing to do with the search warrant executed on Mar-a-Lago. But of course, Fox News will never push back because Fox's job isn't news. It is to serve as a propaganda arm for the Republican Party. And Eric Trump won't care either because it's not about legitimate justifications to attack anybody, including Jack Smith. It is about finding any pretext to go after any opponent of his father. This is about concocting the narrative that he deserves to be prosecuted, and so they will throw anything they can against the wall to see what sticks, truth or reality be damned. Eric is also missing one huge detail. Literally, no one in Trump's orbit has refuted the fact that all of these boxes filled with stolen classified documents were sprawled around Mar-a-Lago. Trump was literally indicted for retention of classified documents after taking these items, refusing to comply with the National Archives' request to return them, ultimately resulting in a magistrate judge signing off on a search warrant. So unless Jack Smith snuck into Mar-a-Lago as, a private citizen and started planting thousands and thousands and thousands of classified documents in the bathroom and offices of Donald Trump's resort, then what is Eric even talking about? And yet, this is how the right-wing media ecosystem operates. Even though no one in Trump's orbit disputes the fact that Donald Trump took these documents, these MAGA mouthpieces, including Eric, are so hell-bent on rewriting history and so accustomed to lying to their own audience that they're out here on national TV concocting an entirely new version of something that the whole country watched in real time and on which a jury found grounds to indict Trump. But because Republicans have nothing but oozing contempt for their supporters, they'll just lie to their faces in hopes that just enough of them are mentally pliable enough to be manipulated into believing whatever new version of reality they're served on Fox. Republicans might claim to hate Democrats, but there is truly no one they have more contempt for than their own voters. The reality is that while this administration swore up and down that it would take care of regular people, that it was focused on lowering costs and protecting earned benefits and ushering in a manufacturing renaissance, Donald Trump has done none of those things. His trade war has sent the cost of everything surging, job growth has been anemic, if not literally contracting, wages are flat, inflation is up, and there is no manufacturing renaissance even in sight. But what Trump has spent his time on is retribution for himself. That is his priority. Which goes to show you that if he wants to do something, he gets it done. He doesn't let the courts or the judges or prosecutors or lawyers or the Constitution or laws stand in his way. Meaning that if he wanted to take care of regular people, if he wanted to lower costs or protect healthcare or expand jobs, the guy would. But that's not his priority, because those things help other people, and Donald Trump is focused on helping himself. I spoke with Senator Brian Schatz about the dangerous path that we're headed down as Trump continues to set his sights on his political enemies. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, it's malicious prosecution. It's very similar to what just happened with James Comey. They couldn't find a career prosecutor to bring the case. I think this one might even be even more thin in the sense that it's mortgage fraud.
Yeah.
And just a very goofy charge. So I have no doubt that she'll be exonerated. I wouldn't be surprised if he got kicked way before a trial. So I think there's two ways to look at this, right? One is that Donald Trump is doing authoritarian things. The other is that Donald Trump has not yet succeeded to become an authoritarian ruler. And I think that in the interest there are a bunch of people who want the rest of the United States to be sufficiently alarmed. And so we talk about the United States of America like we've already crossed some Rubicon and we're already at the bottom of the hill and authoritarianism is here. And I don't think that's the right way to look at this. I think we have to view Trump as a very serious threat to the American experiment, a very serious threat to our freedoms. But when we push back and use the judicial system, we have been winning. I think Gavin Newsom in California has demonstrated that both in the judicial process and in this redistricting process, that we are not without tools. I think what the people in Portland are doing in terms of peaceful prison demonstrations is very clever and smart. I think J.B. Pritzker is a good example. I think, frankly, when Brendan Carr tried to, basically gut the First Amendment, that Ted Cruz stepping up was an enormously important thing. So we're not without tools here. And so two things are true at the same time. One is Donald Trump would absolutely become an authoritarian permanent ruler if he could. Yeah. The other is that we're pretty long way from that as long as we all are disciplined and smart and together and fight like hell.
So look, I'm not here looking to relitigate the 2024 election. I don't care who you voted for, but it is clear by now that the Republicans said anything they needed to say to get into power with zero intention of following through. This is what they do. They pose as populists while manipulating you for votes, and once they get those votes, and those votes translate into power for themselves, they focus on what they actually care about, which is helping themselves and their rich friends. Remember, Trump ran as a working-class populist, and since he's been in office, he has given millionaires and billionaires a tax cut while raising costs for everybody else. Don't listen to what he says, watch what he does, because what he's doing betrays exactly who he works for 10 times out of 10. Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.